Hello, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, sorry. I hope you guys can hear me. Please, if you can hear me, just drop on the chat that you can hear me. Okay. Okay, so we'll be starting now. Mr. Ayo Emmanuel would be anchoring this whole session. He's the one in charge. So very soon we'll talk, and you guys will be able to hear from him. So first of all, I want to officially welcome every one of us to this orientation, so that you guys can know everything that we will be doing here. All right. So I'll allow Mr. Ayo Emmanuel to go ahead and then get started with this whole orientation. All right, guys. Well done, everyone. Welcome, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Velvet. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Estel Directorate from the National Open University of Nigeria, I welcome you all to um, the virtual orientation. So I believe all of you can hear me. So we have about let's say 30 minutes to run through how this is going to be, and I will also expect questions where I need to clarify. So you can, when I'm done, you can put down your questions and then I will respond to them as much as I can. All right. So the product design course, in partnership with Etify, it's to raise an army of great product designers, um, and this will be a very, very practical course. We will not be spending too much of our time doing so much about theoretical parts, what is UI, what is UX, and what you can use UX for, the financial benefit of UX and UI. I expect um, somehow we should have an idea about what user experience and user interface is. However, as much as it's going to be practical, your instructor will try as much as possible to put you through the career path where you need to, where you will understand um, the career benefits and how to make yourself visible for career opportunities. Now, the product design course is, like I said, going to be highly practical. Um, so we have 3 months to train you guys, 3 months to make sure that you are equipped to be a proper product designer and product manager. Now, as a product designer, it is required. If someone is saying, "Can't hear me," please, if you can hear me, can I just get a feedback? So, for the product design, we will be using Figma as a tool to to design, right? To create stuffs, to transfer what we have to proper ideas, right? So to transfer um, things that we're imagining, like where is transferring imagination to reality. So Figma will be the tool we will be using to take ourselves from where we are now to where we want to be in the next 3 months. And I'm very sure that 100% of you will not be to the end of the program. It's just a fact, funny enough. But at the end of the third month, those of us that will be there till the end of the third month will be very, very equipped, fully equipped um, for whatever career path they want to pursue using that skill. Now, one thing is sure, this is going to be a very interesting but very demanding journey, right? So, what we expect is that you go along with us through the journey. We are not here to create designers that cannot design or certified designers that cannot design. As much as there are a lot of, oh, you cannot learn this in 3 months, you cannot learn this in 4 weeks, you cannot learn this in 6 months. That is not true. Now, I'll tell you a very brief story. I have a friend that was working with a company and they needed just to change their landing page design to something nice, something dope, right? And they got someone, a designer from Fiverr. Fiverr is a marketplace where, of course, skilled people can get remote jobs, right? So they got a designer from Fiverr, and the Fiverr guy charged them $100 to design a landing page, right? Responsive page, so different screens, $100, and then the guy designed. In 2 days he was done. He sent it to them and the company did not really like what the guy designed, but they had to just take it, and it was better than what they had, but they wanted something better. So this my friend now saw that opportunity, like $100, 2 days, and he didn't really do much from what is already there, just innovate around stuff like that. And then somehow he said he was going to check out how they do it because he's an insider, so he has an idea of what the company wants, and so that was how he had this. He got himself in 3 weeks. Just learned the fundamental tools and picked some stuffs and all of that. Just since he was an insider, I knew what the company wanted. He recreated what that guy did, then made some adjustment to it, and then sent it to the company. And from there, in less than 2 months, that friend of mine was now working with Polaris Bank. And from Polaris Bank, he's no longer in the country just because he saw that he could get $100. The idea was just to get $100, nothing more. He just wanted to get that $100, right? But because he saw opportunity from that, he took it from there to Polaris and no longer in the country, right? And fundamentally, he learned the real things he wanted in 3 weeks, right? So because he wanted to do that. So just kill the idea that 3 months is not good. 3 months is over enough for you to be good with Figma, like to be very good with Figma. Every other thing will now be about your creativity and research when you want to create designs, right? So as a university, we decided to step in to create this, but we know that we cannot do it on our own, right? So we had to partner with a private company that will get professionals to create the course, right? So we partnered with a private company, and here we are. Course properly created, course properly vetted, and the program is structured to carry you from that very first day to the very last day. And I will say this, it's not just I know how to design, like product design. So we took a step further to make sure that there are modules that covers product management, because at the end of the day, you just can't be um, a product designer without understanding how to manage projects, right? Because in the corporate world, project management, product management is a whole lot different from project management, right? So you need to understand at least one of the most popular tool that we use for product management, right? So you need to understand what sprint planning is, because if you're working in a company and you're supposed to plan a sprint and the sprint is supposed to be for 1 week, and that's the first time you're hearing about sprints, it doesn't work well, right? So you need to understand what sprint planning is. You need to understand what a scrum master is, because the scrum master is more like your monitor, your conductor, someone that will monitor what you're doing and all of that. And you do stand-ups, and from there, your sprint, you plan a sprint for 2 weeks, you know when to move the project from one section to the other. You know when to highlight that something is blocking you. If there's supposed to be a brief you're expecting, you put it there that okay, this is blocking this and all of that. So these are the processes we will be um, going through, like we'll put you guys through, from proper product design to proper project product management. Then we will move from that to um, portfolio setting and visibility, right? Where we set you up for global market. So there are a lot of portfolio companies, and we'll show you how you could set up a good portfolio. And of course, your projects will be added to your portfolios, and then someone can look at it and people can look at it. And some of you will be creating some stuff for partners we already have, right? Including Etify that is working with us, right? You will create content, yeah, you will create pages for them. That they have a lot of designs, they have a lot of plugins, a lot of themes going on for there. So they're always looking out for designers. So the very first part is when we had them on board, we're like, okay, you guys will train, but you need to get some of the good guys in this program to also design cool themes and templates for you, right? So it's going to be an interesting one. We expect that um, majority of you will go through it from day one to the very last day. Now, the next thing is every module has some form of every model has a process, right? So um, from pre-recorded videos where you have to go through them, because there was a debate if we have to do live continuously, but we had issues, and some persons raised concerns about internet. Yeah, the strength of your internet, you might be slow, you might not start the class when others are starting for whatever reason. And since this is very practical, you might miss some tools and it becomes a problem from you from the fundamentals. So we decided to create a hybrid method. So the model itself are pre-recorded videos created by your instructor, so you can watch them and rewatch them and rewatch them continuously, right? You will have like 2 weeks or 1 week, depending on how the facilitator wants to section it. You have 2 weeks or 1 week where you will go through the pre-recorded content over and over again and get used to the tools. Then at the end of the module, you will have a live section just like this, where your instructor will share their screen, right? Where the instructor will share his screen, and he will use that opportunity to go through what you have learned from the pre-recorded and do a proper practical class with you, right? So you will have that opportunity to ask direct questions, right? Direct questions concerning, oh, I was going through this, I saw this too, I was trying to do that, I didn't get that. So live and direct, he will put us through that section, right? So we go from that. When we're done with that, do the practicals, do few assessments, and then we move to the next module, right? So we go through the same process again. So we go through the same process again. You move from the pre-recorded to live classes where we do practicals. From the live class, we do assessment. The next module we open. We go through that again, pre-recorded, live classes, the next module we open. So the idea here is that you will learn through the pre-recorded. Then if you have questions, the Slack channel is very important. I will discuss that later because that you also use to ask real-time questions, because if you are going to pre-recorded videos and you have questions, you just don't have to wait till live class. You can just put it there in the Slack channel and your instructor will just get to you and answer your questions, right? So the Slack channel will help you with direct answering of questions so that you don't wait till we have live classes, so that you not kill your vibe while learning, right? So you can just drop it there. So we expect that your fellow learners will help you, right? Will help you answer some of the questions, and then of course the your instructor can just breeze in and then answer the questions, right? So every module has pre-recorded, and then we go through live questions, right? Live practical class. And the live practical class will be recorded and also added to you. So those that miss the live class can also go through what happened during the live class, right? So you go through that, we do that, then we move over to the next module until we are done with the last module. Now, after that very last module, then we dive into your project. And this is the most exciting part for me, right? Project. Now, the way we have designed the project is like no other. So, like I said when we started this section, I said we are not here to create certified designers in quotes, but we are really here to create actual designers, right? People that will design, not I know how to, but I don't really design, right? You will design. So what we will be doing, so if you can't hear me, I think that's coming from your end. What we'll be doing in the project, it's amazing. So the way it was structured, when I saw it, I loved it, right? So the unit that structured that did very well. So this is what we will be doing. Now they have three sections or three kinds of projects you guys will be doing through this, right? Through this course. Three kinds of projects. The very first project you will embark on is a project where you will pick a URL, you pick a site, a working site. For example, you pick Facebook as a site, or you pick Flutterwave as a site, or you pick Etify as a site, right? Or you pick anything, any interesting project as a site. Then that will be your project. The very first project will now be you are to replicate that very thing you are saying, right? The very thing you are seeing. The project you picked, the site you picked, if you picked Instagram, you picked Facebook, you picked Flutterwave, whatever it is, after picking, that is the first project you will do. You will replicate that project exactly. So when we are assessing the project, we are just to log into the URL you picked and see exactly what they have there, and then check what you have done. So what we expect is 100% what you are seeing. Definitely you can't get 100%, but exactly what you're seeing there is what we expect you to replicate as your first project, right? Now, we expect that as you are learning from the very first module, you should have picked your project, right? You should have picked your project from the very first module. We don't expect you to start picking project when you're done with the last module, because as you're learning, you are implementing these skills through using your projects, right? So if today we've learned how to do fonts formatting and all those things and all of that, you just go create your stuff, you do that, right? So if tomorrow you've learned, so you are replicating what you're learning with that very first project, right? So we expect that when we are in module 5, module 6, your project is almost also at 50-60% done and all of that, right? So you'll be working with things that you will use, right, to create that project. That's the first one. Now, the second one is where we will have a master class where we will tell you how to innovate around an idea, right? So you can look at for example, Facebook, and then we will discuss how you can innovate around it, because most time the jobs that come to product designers are not necessarily new stuffs, right? So they're not necessarily new stuff. So what they want you to do is that, oh, we have this site, we want it to look better. Can you recreate something good for us? Right? So we want to test you through that process. So we want an opportunity where you will look at an existing project and innovate around it, right? So the first one is that you will create exactly what is there so that we know that you can create what is given to you, right? Second one is now innovating around an existing idea. So you're going to pick a nice project and say, okay, I want to innovate around this. Okay, I want to change Facebook to leg book, right? I want to create something different with Facebook. Then you create an idea from that, right? So you change the user experience, you change the features, you change the color and all of that, right? So you should have a way that, so we will have a section where you will also hear from front end designers, right? People that are already in the job, right? People that know what they want from their product designers, because at the end of the day, you will be working with just the front end most times, because the front end are the ones to bring your design to life, right? So you bring your design to life. So the front end somehow are the ones that will tell you, hey guy, this is not what you're supposed to do, right? So you're supposed to change this here, change that here, because the API is already saying this and this and that. So the front end will be inviting few front end developers to have a conversation with you, right? Tell you this is what we expect, so that you know exactly how to replicate stuff, because the front ends are the ones that interact with the designer and then the back end, right? So if the front end knows what the back end has done, which are its APIs and all the crazy functionality, we expect that the front end should tell you as a designer that, okay, this is what the back end has done. So this what you have done here, we don't have any endpoints for it from the back end. So I can't replicate your design because it will just be dummy. Like if you click it, nothing will work because the back end has not catered for that, right? So we'll show you how we invite a front end, and then they'll show you exactly what they expect from designers, so that you can also have that picture of you are not just designing cool stuff that cannot be implemented, right? Or what the back end have not catered for. So you don't just think and implement something you just want to do. When front end can implement what you will do, but back end, if back end do not cater for that, then it's not going to change, like, so it's not going to be live. So we will have those sections with you. And so the second project should teach you how to innovate an existing idea, right? Innovate, because I'm not sure about the statistics, but don't quote my word for me, but close to about 50% of the gigs that product designers have now are innovating an existing idea, right? So it's not like you're going to do something new, but they're going to show you what they have and tell you, oh guys, we don't like this, so change it to something better, right? So those are the things. Now the last one, the last project is the project where um, you will question your creativity, you question your level of research and all of that to make a good job, right? So this is where some of you will really stand out, and this is bringing up a new idea completely, right? There's no existing stuff you're trying to. So there are a lot of startup ideas that will just be there, right? People will want you to, oh, I have this idea and all of that. Okay, can we get a designer? And then you are the designer. So you're just hearing an idea and you don't know how the landing page is going to look. You don't know how what the icons you are going to use. You don't know if you will animate the page. You're just hearing the idea for the first time, like, oh, I want to build something that if you click it, somebody will be dancing and all of that. You don't know what will be dancing. You don't know how the click button will look like. You're just hearing the idea. Now create a design, right? So at that point, you will totally find what you want to do. You go to other design sites to look out for ideas. You go to Behance to look out for ideas. You go to Team Forest to look out for ideas. You go to different Pinterest to look out for ideas. You just do a lot of stuff just to think, and then you create a sketch of what you want to do. Then you start picking up, okay, these are the pictures I will use, and you create a library of what you need, and then you create your design straight up, right? So the very last one is the final project, and we'll be giving out, dishing out some topics for you, like dishing out some crazy startups. Oh, we want to do cryptocurrency that will be used, and when you do it, this will change. You will do that. You buy gift cards. You cannot do that, right? So you also want to do a school portal for university, but this one people can use it as social media, right? Crazy stuff that might not make sense, but might make sense. But the point here is that the first one, you will replicate an existing idea. The second one, you will innovate an existing idea. And the third one, you will create an idea from a story. So somebody's going to tell you the user story. So in product design, in tech, in products, in developing a product, there's what we call user story. So someone will give you a user story. I expect that when my user come, there should be KYC, where you know you have to put in some verification, whatever. Then OTP should be sent. If the OTP is sent, they are not going to give you all the stuff. Then you, in your own capacity, you start looking at, okay, if OTP is sent, okay, that means they can reset password. So when they do that, oh, they'll confirm this, right? So you will be picking all of this. You'll be picking a lot of stuff from this, and the story the user will give you, you will see that user as a client. So who will be your client? Will give you a lot of user story, right? So you just see that as a client's job, and then from nowhere you have to pick good design. So you're not going to build something that is too dark when you are building something for education. You're not going to build something that is too bright when you are building something for, let's say, cryptocurrency or NFTs, right? So you have to do something darker. So all of these things, you yourself will just come up with a nice idea, like, oh, yeah, we can do this in this way. We can do this. And then you bring up your sketch, we look at them, we go, right? So that is the whole essence of this course: practical, projects to projects to projects as you're learning, right? So that it doesn't get boring. So that at the end of the day, criteria for certifications will even be that you already have a profile online, you already have projects in your profile, you're already visible, your LinkedIn profile is showing what you have done, and then people should be looking at you from there, right? So that's how the project will look like. Now, for the cluster formation, right? I know we have sent links, right? There's been a link there for joining Slack. I'm seeing a lot of persons here saying the Slack is not working and all of that, right? So I don't know why it's not working for some of you, and those of you that you're there, it's just a community, right? Where we need to. So the reason why we refuse to do WhatsApp, we don't want any spamming. We don't want people to have people's phone numbers and start um, joking with that. But however, after this orientation, we will throw up a survey for you guys to pick which channel will be best for you. So those of you that will be using that want, if you want Slack, Telegram or WhatsApp. From the survey, we will know what will be best for this because we really want proper communication. We don't want those of you that are not necessarily getting access to the Slack to do that. However, the reason we chose Slack is because we are training you guys to be there sufficient for that industry, and majority of companies that want to do this, they're not using good, they're using Slack. They're not using Teams, they're using Slack, right? So it's a whole lot. But for effective conversation, we will throw up that survey so that we will know where those of you that want to use Slack and those of you that are comfortable with your numbers in WhatsApp, you can put it there. Those of you that want to use Telegram, we just want to make sure that this can work, right? So that we don't have issues around communication. So we will check out, I'm seeing a lot of Telegram stuff and all of that. So we'll check out what you should use and all of that. Another reason why we wanted to use or why we opted out for Slack is because we want to create clusters in channel, like so you all can be in the same channel, in the same Slack channel, but there are sub channels where okay, your project is around social media, you're creating a social media kind of project kind of thing, so you should be in one particular Slack channel, right? And you're creating stuff in fintech, okay, you can be in your cluster so that you can like minds, you can relate, you can end up forming something great from there, right? So you can discuss, oh, you're creating something in edutech, education technology, so you guys can be in a group. Oh, you're creating something in agri-tech, or you are designing something in crypto, right? So from that angle, you can form clusters, and the clusters will help work, right? So because we need a proper team communication from that cluster. So we will check. There are pros and cons to all of these social platforms, right? There are pros and cons to it. We'll look out for the one that is best for us to communicate, because if I'm dropping something for the guys building, creating something around social media, I don't think you that is creating something for fintech should necessarily be aware of that, right? I just want to drop it for these guys. I don't want it. I want it. If I want to get it to the whole the general channel, I can also do that, right? So we will look out for what is best, right? I'm seeing a lot of suggestions. We'll look out for which one is best, and then we'll just have it. However, other programs we have um, under the Excel directorate, where it's all been Slack, from cloud computing to data analysis. That's all been Slack, right? But let's see what happens going forward from here. So that's the reason for the cluster formation. We'll group you guys according to your interests. So yeah, you're not necessarily creating a startup, right? But probably love certain things. You love to work in fintech, you love to work in agri-tech, you love to work in property tech, you want to work in edu-tech, you want to work in insurance tech, whatever it is, right? So you can we use that to set up your clusters, and with that you can have a proper conversation, right? So that's it on product formation. Then the opportunities, right? Opportunities, internship opportunities, but so that you guys will not drag the university, we're not giving you 100%. Like, oh, when you graduate, you must have internship. Like, you must have internship, right? We're not doing that. We are a university, even if we're in partnership with a private sector to deliver this. So we're not necessarily going to assure every one of you that immediately graduate there's internship like others will do. At the end of the day, they are not giving that internship, right? However, because of our brand, we have the capacity to reach out to a lot of tech companies, right? That will be looking out for possible internship. So we will be sending a lot of them an invitation to check you guys when you are done with your final project. We will actually even be sending them a copies of your portfolio so that they can look at it, right? So at the end of the day, we know there will be a lot of opportunities for you guys, but and we're not saying everybody's going to have, but currently as we're speaking, we're already discussing it with few of them. We already have some years, we already have some maybes, but we are sure that when we're done, you guys will have a lot of opportunities, right? So, but the fundamental part here is that you should be good enough. We want you to be good enough. Your portfolio will make sure you have done that. That's one of your criteria for graduation. Your portfolio must be set. Everything must be working before you even sit for the certification exams. Now, the certification will be coming from the National Open University. You'll be certified by the National Open University as a product designer and manager, and you have the opportunity to collect soft or hard copies of the certificate, right? So for the hard copies, when we're done, if you want hard copies, you will drop a form for those that want hard copies to fill. However, we will not be the ones to cater for logistics to move your hard copy to you, right? So the best we can do is make sure the hard copy is ready. If you can come to head office in Jabi, we will give you the hard copy. But for those of you that want it transferred to your location, you will cater for that, right? So for the um, for the data analysis and others, what they do is that they set themselves in cluster like, oh, those of us in Lagos, let's group ourselves and request for that. So if like 20 persons request for that, sending it might just be like 3,000, 5,000, depending on what the courier service want to take. And then imagine 20 persons contributing 5,000 naira, like it might just be like 200 or 300 naira. And then you will have um, you have your copy sent to Lagos where someone can pick it and then you guys get it distributed, right? But for soft copy, everyone will have an opportunity to download the soft copy, which is the same thing as the hard copy, right? Now we are doing something extra. The certificate will not be, oh, I have a certificate and then it's just there, right? People should be able to trace that you're actually certified, right? So we'll do that extra verification where people can verify that, yeah, it's national organization that certify you as a product designer and project manager, right? So that's it. Every other thing you can always ask questions to get clarity. For those of you that missed the exams, the scholarship exams, the reason why we're also invited here is because, in quote, we want you to still get that opportunity. So you will be writing that exam because for forensic, all of the auditing and all of that, if your name is not in the exam list, we can't say we gave scholarship to this person. It means that the directorate is playing a game, right? So it's very important that you write that scholarship exam because the way we've done it is more like if you write, you must pass. That's how it looks like because that was our initial plan that it should be 20,000 for everybody, whether no, there's nothing like scholarship, just pay for certification and get this thing done. That was like our CSR. But because there are other parties involved in this, it was not really carried. That motion did not pull through. So we're like, okay, those that will do scholarship should just do for certification, and those that will not go through scholarship will have to pay tuition and then certification. And this is it. Um, you are to pay certification because we know some of you are very funny, right? So you go through the stuff and you will not pay the certification, and then it becomes a problem for the bursary department to really sort this out. So please, you are required to pay your certification after immediately you just start that first module, you should pay, right? We're giving you access to even access the first module, like the very first lecture, where you have to show you how to set up your Figma and all those things. But you will have to pay before you continue, because for auditing, we don't want somebody to drag us like, oh, 85 partnered with National Open University, but they didn't give the scholar, they didn't give this and that. People did not pay for this or all of that. So please, you are to pay that 20,000 naira certification to the university's account, not to my father's account, not to anybody's account. So you are meant to pay that certification money to the university's account. And the university's account is a federal government account. It is not an account for um, the principal or the vice chancellor. It is the federal government's account. And the method of payment is already captured, right? I think they've not sent it, they will resend the method of payment so that you pay following that method of payment. Because if you do not follow that method of payment, you will be paying money to the federal government and the university cannot take the money back. Do you understand? So follow that method of payment where you need to write the proper description, product design as it is stated in the method you'll be using to do the payment. Write it. If you write something else, we can't retrieve it, because Remital is used by all federal institutions, whether schools, anything federal government, using Remital, right? So same thing, you are paying to Remital. And if anything goes wrong with your description, we can't retrieve that money as an institution, right? So you just follow the actual process and pay for the certification. When you do that, you can now send the copy of payments to the Excel email, where we'll use that to create, we use that to track the payment procedure, right? Now, what is required to pay is 20,000 naira, right? However, that came up about last week when the first set of persons joined the Slack, and we started having some concerns, like started getting some concerns around 20,000. Is it going to, can we pay installment and all of that, right? So we had to go back and look at the best way we can work this out, right? So we came up with the concept. So those of you that want to pay by installments, you can do that. However, there will be a very serious problem around we balancing the book, since it's not coming to someone's personal accounts, right? So there will be an issue balancing the book when it comes to installment payments. So this is what we came up, right? We and 85. So we had to look at it and say, okay, for those of you that want to pay direct 20,000 naira, right? You can pay, you will pay direct to the institution's account, right? But for those of you that want to pay installment, you will pay to 85. 85 will keep the money until it's complete, then pay. So if you pay, 85 will pay your, if you pay installment, your first installment, 85 will pay your complete payment. That means 85 is guaranteeing you will pay to the university, right? 85 will pay to the university. Then when you pay your complete payment to 85, 85 will keep your money because they've already paid for you the university. So 85 is guaranteeing if you not pay complete, you will not do the course, but 85 must have paid the university. We don't care. The university just want their money. If you've paid to the university for the certificate, that's it. 85 will have to do every other thing. So if you are doing installment payments and you want to pay 10,000, 5,000, any way you want to do that installment, right? You can do that with 85 on installment. So 85's accounts will be managing that. But mainly you pay first installment, 85 will pay your complete money to the university to say, okay, this is a student, he can continue, right? So we expect that 85 will collect the other installments before you finish everything in the program. So please, that is it. Now, I'm hearing some questions. It's if for those that this scholarship, it was really stated there, right? It's not like um, it's not like this is just coming up, right? So it was stated in the adverts, it was stated in every part of the publicity that was sent. Your tuition is taken out, like your training fee for the program is taken out, but you will pay for that certification from the university, right? So anyone that wants to pay installments for certification, you can do that. If you are paying in full for certification, you can do that. However, the training will go through, right? So you have access to join the program throughout to the first 2 weeks. You are in the first module and all of that. Then at least you must have made one payment before you move to the next module, right? Before you move to the next module. First module, you can join. First practical section, you can join, but you will not have access to the next module if you do not do that. So those of you that say, I felt it was fully funded, everything is black and white. It was stated there in the adverts, it was stated in everything. So that nobody was, they said it is free. When we now had this thing, I said we should start paying money. Nah, there's nothing like that. We were very clear from the very beginning that, okay, this is how it's going to be done. Because it is not a private stuff, that's even why it is that cheap, right? Because it's part of the part of everything that happens with a federal university. It must be discounted. It's like subsidized or subsidy or whatever they call it, right? So that is it. So please, you are required to go through that process. And apart from, just to also get clarity, 85 is also known as contentionary, right? So if you check them out, they are also known as contentionary. So if you check contentionary.com, it will reflect to 85. It will redirect to 85. So 85 and contentionary are the same. I think they just rebranded to 85 2 months ago or thereabout, but it has always been contentionary, right? So in your Slack channels, all of this will be explained. But please, if you are paying directly to its university's account or National Open University's account, how to pay will be direct, right? So that is it. You are not paying for any, if it's hard copy or soft copy or whatever. That is the only fee that anyone is going to do at all, right? Completely. There's no hidden, okay, let's pay for to get this particular profile, or let's do this to pay for any software or whatever. That is all we have, right? So I don't know. I'm just looking at what we have here and then answering the questions accordingly. So, Mr. Velvet, please can you read any other question that are not answered? So someone said, why can't we pay after the exams? So I don't understand if it's a scholarship exam or whatever, right? So, but I think scholarship exam is free and you can take the exams and start the course. But after that first module, we can't proceed because we cannot guarantee all of you doing paying at the end of the program that oh we will pay or we will not pay. Some of you will stay till the fifth module and then you will run, right? So we're just trying to make sure that so for those that mix the exams, the portal will still be open throughout this week. So as you are taking the exams, you'll be added. Like I said, the way it was even built, because they were insisting that people that will not do scholarship will pay more than that. In our own end, we made sure that the exam is very doable, like you can just pass it closing your eye. And so most everybody that wrote that exam have passed the exam, so that we are just trying to do our own part so that we make sure that we have people, because at the end of the day they were like, no, it's too cheap. As a private company, we cannot be doing that and all those things. But we were a public company, right? So at the end of the day, we made the exams pretty cheap, easy, so that as you write, you have the capacity, you have everything to pass, and then you move over to where we actually wanted you to be, which is around that same 20,000. So, can't grace be given till the end of the program for payment? Grace can be given, but nobody can shorty that, right? So that's where the problem comes in. And since there are two different parties involved in this, we don't want to have any issue, because as I'm talking to you now, the bursary department is not talking to you. They don't care. They just want to check how many subscribers do you guys have. Okay, we are expecting this amount of money from, right? The department in charge of certification and everything, how much do they have? And they start making provision for printing, and doing this and doing all of that. That is their own business. They don't care about any other stuff. So everyone just have their own interests. But the major thing here is that we want to make sure that we are getting this done completely, right? So this will be the first for product design, but we already have um, data analysis and cloud computing programs happening since last year. So it's all good. How many months will they? So we're doing this for 3 months, right? We're doing this for 3 months, and we'll be doing them accordingly, right? So every module, we'll go through each module, and we're doing our projects along with it, and everything will just be till the third month, we're good to go. Some of you, if you are good enough, from the second month, you can even start looking out for small jobs that you can, as it comes, you are doing it, you're making your money, right? So that's it. So please talk about the exam. So this, I mean, if you're trying to mean the scholarship exams that are there, so they will reopen the portal for the exams. Those that have not taken the exams today till throughout this week, before you go deep into the whole course thing, you can still take the exams, right? So you can use that opportunity and rewrite the exams. And those of you that applied through the normal application means, I think they've sent mails before on how to log in and how to access the exams. So if you have issues, you can reply the mail. I think there's a phone number there. You can call the phone number and then find a way to access the exam. Must you use a laptop or can we use the phone for the training? Okay, so you cannot use a phone for the training, right? You cannot use a phone as a product designer is not possible, right? So you need a laptop or a desktop that is good enough. I don't know, but you need a laptop to be able to get this rolling. Okay, so this program is not for 12 months. You don't need 12 months to be a product designer. All of those things are things people do. Yeah, you can just like whatever you can learn a proper professional course in 6 months, and you can still learn a proper professional course in 3 years, right? So 12 months is not it. You don't need all of that. So why is the portal tell us to subscribe when clicking on exams? Okay, I'm not sure about that. If you're having issues when you try to click on the exam, it means that you've not been added to that exam. So you should just reach out to the number or to the email and say, okay, you've not been added to the exam, so they'll add you up to the exam so that you'll be able to take the exams, right? Okay. Please, is data analysis program still open? Okay, so this is not for data analysis, but data analysis program, different batches are still on, but there's a batch for next month, not this month, because this month they already did their orientation about 2 weeks ago. So anyone that is doing that should join, should prepare for the next batch. What with this explanation, if you mean with fertilization, I qualify for this one. So yes, like I said, not everybody, right? So we're very sure that majority of the persons that took the exam passed the exam, right? Because it was that simple. It was a deliberate attempt to make it very accessible so that most of you will have that discounted price, which is what we program coordinators planned to do initially, not until bursary, senate, and all of that had to fight against that initial payment, right? So the concept is to make sure that it is very cheap for everyone to access. That's what we did. Please provide with instruction on how to access the community and when and which mail to use. I'm using Google, but it's not working. Thank you. So I think if you were sent an invite, you can easily access that Slack community. However, like I said before, we will throw up a survey through emails and through Slack, the ones that are there, so that you can pick your favorable method that you feel we can be communicating, right? So from that portal, from your survey, your email will be by the side. So if you choose this one, you put your email, so we'll know that we are sending invite for you just for that. So this other one will send invite just like that. So we might split you guys based on all of these challenges, but truthfully, Slack that is supposed to be our preferred, but if you can't access it, we'll provide alternatives that you can also use. Okay. What was the cutoff mark for the exams? Okay, so I'm not in the exam department. I'm not sure about what cutoff mark is, but I'm pretty much sure that you will pass. If you not pass, send us a mail that I said you will pass and they did not allow you to pass. So what we're trying to do, just not to put it out there in the public that, oh, just write the exams, everybody pass. We made sure that it is very, very simple for anyone to pass, right? So so that we will have um a good number of you that want to do it and don't have the capacity to pay tuitions of 60,000 and all of that to join the program, right? So that's it. Okay, someone is reminding me that this is 1 p.m. Yes, I'm fully aware. So I think I'm done with basically the orientation. Now it's just questions. So if you're clear about what you're supposed to get from this orientation, you can exit while I just answer questions of persons uh, that wants clarity. So someone saying, are we going to use HTML and all of that? Okay, so that is front end. So that's some that are things. These are things we will also be clearing and making sure that everyone understands what um, he or she wants to do. product design is different from front end development, right? You don't write codes in product design. So a designer gives the front end what to implement with codes, right? So the front end cannot work until there's a design. So if you are building a software or there's a company involved in software, these are the departments, right? So from product design, front end, back end, and of course, if they are going cloud, right? Dev operations. So the first person to bring the idea to pictorial view and to show the user the experience is the product designer. So if you check a site and you don't like what is happening, the product designer messed it up, not the front end. Because front end just implements. They don't want to create, they don't have idea, they don't want to think. Whatever you give them is what they do. So if you are saying that, oh, by the left hand side is where the logo should be, or the middle of the laptop or the desktop or the phone, that's where the logo is supposed to be. If you are saying the logo should come with a name, right? This and that. It is yours to decide. So the product designer either makes it work good or bad. So any site you log in and it's not fine is the product designer, right? So you are not doing codes. You are replicating using, there are a lot of tools, but we're using Figma because of many obvious reasons, right? So we're using Figma to do this. So we'll be doing this for 3 months and you will be building alongside, right? So as you are learning, you are implementing that with your first project because all of you will pick a project from that first module. We will know your projects. The project will help us form your clusters, right? So you will use those clusters as you are learning. You are creating your your project. You are creating your project. Some of you might be too excited, and before 1 month, you're already done with your project. You can pick up another project and be building. Because the more beautiful pages you have in your portfolio, the more visibility, the more people want to call you for jobs, right? So product design has nothing to do with front end, but front end work with product designers to create what you all are seeing right now. Why the back end make everything come alive, right? So if you click, it brings something, all of these things, right? So that's what the back end does, right? So that's it. So lectures are open so it's self-paced. Like I said, the videos are self-paced. There's nothing like lecture. In the night, you want to use your night and use 1 hour for first video, okay? The next day, you want to just be doing 1 hour every night, good for you. But before that live class that we'll be having, you need to be good. You need to have watched the entire self-paced videos, right? So that you know what the instructor is saying. So that part where the instructor will have that live section can go as long as 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on you. So if you come to the live section and you've asked your question and he has clarified and you're good with what you need to know, you can just exit, right? Just exit. So others that still want to stay in the live session can still stay in the live section. But normally a live session is supposed to be like 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes to really explain, answer, and clarify stuff, do a practical view of what he has already done in the video, right? However, if you're done with in 3 minutes into the live section, if he has answered what you need and you feel like I don't need live section today, I'm good with this module, I want to just prepare for the next module, you don't need to attend the live section, right? So it's not compulsory for live section, but live section just to make sure that we keep in touch. And during the live sections, that's where 1 or 2 designers, front-end developers can always come and share their expectations around designs, right? Expectation. Even the back end will also come share their expectation, what they expect from you guys while you are building, because product is hot cake, especially when you're good. Timetables are you going to send them through email or yeah, so everything will communicate through emails, and the channels will create. So Slack and other channels that will work, we'll use that to communicate how all of this will happen, how everything will be. But after today, access will be granted, right? This week, you guys will start having access. That same way you access your exam, that same way you saw exam, you start seeing courses. And if you open the course, you see module one, you open the module one, and then you start, right? You start accessing the video, right? So the same method you used in assessing the exams, you will also have same thing, no different user experience. Same way login, you see instead of my exam, you see my course and all those things. You just check my course, you see your course, you click it, and that's it. Nothing special, right? Okay. Most of us are novice on laptop. Can you give us a clue on the software we'll be using? So we're using Figma, right? Figma. And don't be too in a haste to go and start downloading or putting yourself under pressure and tension, right? Calm down, access the first video, see how you can access the Canva, see everything that is required. Just get up. You don't need, it's not rocket science, right? As long as you can access a phone, and say, oh, I want to delete this song. Oh, I want to download this song. I want to set this song as my ringtone. It's the same thing with design, basically, right? They are just tools. You just know when to apply the tools and how to apply the tools. So just easy, just drag, drop, basic stuff. Just here and there will be there, right? So it's not something we should be too worried about. So lectures um, will be access to the course, not lecture, because if I put lecture, it look like we're having a physical class. So access to the course will start this week. I guess on Monday, right? Access to the course will begin on Monday, and then everything you can just week night, you can use your night, just go through the videos. The videos are there for you. You can always come back, check it out again. You can always, even when you're done with module one, you can always go back, right? So, but just make sure that before we have live sections, you have gone through the video so that you know exactly where and how you need to ask questions. So the reason why we don't want to put all the modules at once, we don't want someone to be in module 5 and we are already in module, we are still discussing module 1, and then start putting people under pressure of or you are tensioning people. You know, when you are overdoing, you now be tensioning people like, oh, this guy don't go reach module 5. So the idea is that we go together. So after module 1, you will see module 2 videos will be available, so you can join module 2 just like that, so that the live classes will also go accordingly, not something that some persons will be asking module 3 questions while we are still in module 2, right? So we're just making sure that everything works fine. So by Monday, we all have access to that. Those of you that don't have access to the exams, please, that access will be open again today, from today, so you can take that exam. Please take the exam so that we just carry your name and move it to, this one, they have the exam, they pass the scholarship, and nobody is going to come and disturb our unit or our department. We don't have any, we don't have want any issue around that. So requirements to install to install Figma. All right, so you don't necessarily even need to install Figma, funny enough, right? So you can do it with like direct web, like web based, right? You can just, it's a web application and also a desktop application. So you can do that without installing, but you can also install. And the idea, the good part is that when it's installed, you can do some of the stuff without using your data, right? But when it's not installed, then you use your data to be doing the designs, right? So that's just it. But just get a reasonable laptop. Um, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 7, they are all compatible. It's it's about your processor actually, how fast that should be. Okay, someone's still asking about lectures and how many hours and how many weeks. So we will only meet Saturdays for live sections, please. Saturdays for live sessions. Some of us are working, some of us are students, and all those things. So the reason is that you have all Monday to Friday to check, watch the video, night, anytime you want to watch the video and do your stuff. But live section is always on a Saturday. So we just have 1 hour and then um we'll just do the live section, right? So live section is Saturdays, 1 hour, but it can span through other hours depending on how much questions you keep asking, because this is already taking almost 20 minutes extra from when I'm supposed to end this. But since you're asking questions, I just keep asking the question, right? So that's how the live session will be. Will be your instructor will share screen and be showing you live, and you'll be seeing stuff. So you can be doing with the instructor just like that, right? So after that, you open the next module, you go through it yourself for that period of time, and then we'll have a live section again. You open the next module, you go through it self-paced, and then we'll have a live section again. Just like that. That's how we'll be doing it. I'm not Google
Can you
for
guys hear me now?
yeah, perfect.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you actually.
Okay. So sorry. My own network was kind of disturbing, so I was not able to talk, and you guys were not hearing me. Okay. I've listened to most of the questions you guys are asking concerning this whole course. The way it has been built or the way it has been designed, I don't think any one of you would have issues about the specification of the lab. All right. So, but then I'm amazed by what the National Open University even did concerning the fee, the certification fee you guys are even paying for product design. What you guys will be learning, I don't think that money is even something that anybody should even be complaining about right now because of the value you guys get at the end of the course. I'm even super impressed by what the National University is able to do at the moment because they're actually giving you guys this whole thing at a platter of gold because I feel it's not about the money, it's about the knowledge. That is what they're actually doing. Because if it's led by my own company or if it's led by me, you can pay that amount of money to learn what you want to learn. All right. So let me first of all get you guys to understand this course. All right. The course is a practical course. In as much as the first part will introduce you to the UI UX to understand what a user experience is and know what a UI interface are. So these two things work concurrently. But you need to understand that they are slightly different, so I might be taking you guys on the journey on that part first before we start diving into the old design with Figma. All right. Then after the Figma, we are still going down to the product management, with the general management. So when you will learn sprint planning, how to plan your backlogs, every other thing, epic stories, and all of that. So I feel this particular course you guys are even doing, the university is even giving more, and I just believe, or I just hope that you guys are even ready to learn because more things will be added. We'll be inviting other developers, further developers, other designers for you guys. So that you guys can get inspired, you guys can ask questions, and of course collaborate. All right. Last time we had our meeting, I just wanted to have a chit chat with every one of us. All right, so that I will get to understand what you guys want and what you guys are aiming at achieving. So I feel the university wants to just get you guys to commit yourself a little for you to be committed to this. So I don't think that as a bad thing for them to do. Or like if I'm the one, you guys will pay the full money. But I think the university said pay is for the is good. All right, but then it's going to be an amazing one. For those of you who don't have access to the exams, you've sent so you know honestly, I will respond to you guys. I will make that for you by the end of today. Any one of you that has filled the national platform will have access to your exam. All right, and then what I would advise. I am in the tech world, and I know the channel that we go to the tech world. We don't use as a company. Most companies don't use WhatsApp. Most companies don't use Telegram. The reason why we are even using Slack, but that is the channel used by top companies around the world. So you all need to be familiar with Slack. If your device, if you're using a mobile device and you're using an Android set, it will not work. So if it's not working on your device, use your laptop, use the website, go to slack.com, log in with your laptop, you will have access to Slack. If you're not using anything lesser than maybe something lesser than something not lesser than 7, maybe 8, your other version is 8, you can access it on your mobile device. That's why most of you are not really having access to the Slack on your mobile device. Use your laptop, it is where please. So I would advise every one of us, what I want to create maybe other channel based on what iOS. So I would advise us, let's make sure we connect on Slack. Finding as much as possible to connect on Slack because that is the channel used by both international and local tech companies. Anybody you're working with, they are all using Slack for their communication amongst their team. All right, so that's what I'm just going to chip in. For those of you who are not taking exams, don't worry about it. You will take the exam. All right, you will take the exam. You have the exam, and the course will start fully upon you. So you get when you get access to the exams, when you go to that page, go to the courses, you will see your course because by Monday morning, you all should have been added to that particular course. All right. Thank you guys very much. Mr. Ayo,
All right, thank you. Um, so by Monday, this should start, and you have 2 weeks to, uh, yeah, you have 2 weeks to clear up that very first module, and then you can then have, um, yeah, you have 2 weeks to clear up that first module, and that's also like the timeline you have now to do the certification. So I'm just answering one of the persons I say the first one take so that we know when we are making the payments and all of that. So someone has been sending, would we be connected to internship jobs? I already discussed that at the beginning of this orientation, right? So like I said, even before we release that ads, we already started discussing. We're a brand. So National Open University getting to you that you will listen to us, right? So we already are talking with brands that we want to accept some of you for internship. The only reason we are not putting out there that if you graduate, you will have you will have internship opportunity is not to because that we can't control, right? We cannot control what will happen. At the end of the day, there are companies they don't want, right? So we will make sure Etify has already promised us they are going to take intern. So we know that Etify will take intern. So some of you will be working with Etify for some time. So we are very sure about Etify because they are the partners, right? But every other one is we are discussing with them. Some said yes, some have said maybe, and we will be making more efforts to have more, right? So, but we are not putting it to everyone that immediately you graduate, you must have because we cannot, we don't want anybody to go and drag us and say, oh, you guys did this and you did not do that, right? So, it is not compulsory that everybody must have, but surely most of you will have internship, right? Starting with 35, 35 will take a lot of you because they are building they are building a team template, a team store, a template store that will have a lot of templates of the kind of technologies they have. So imagine they want to build 500 templates, 500 designs have to come out, right? So a lot of you will design for them, right? So a lot of you design for them. Those of you that cannot access Slack on your phone, Slack is very sensitive with phones. So if you don't have a better version of Android phone or an iPhone, you won't be able to download Slack. That's it. So your Android version should be high or just use the mobile, just use your laptop, the mobile part of it, right? So just use your laptop, sign up with the web version, and you can always access it from your laptop. You don't need to create download it if you don't have a very strong, a good Android version, right? So that's it. See, some of them are is now that I'm seeing that some persons are actually just hearing what Mr. Velvet have been saying since. So many reasons why we don't like live versions. Okay, so I think that's it.
Okay, thanks. Hope you can see and hear me.
So Mr. Velvet, I think I'm good to go. Uh, and anyone that feels you can go, if you've answered your questions, you can go. Every other thing, um, Mr. Velvet will be there to answer them. But I think I'll have to take my leave. So thank you very much, guys. It's nice talking with you. We will be seeing or talking in future, maybe towards the end of your program again. But we will be checking up and seeing what you guys are doing. So well done, all the best. We don't expect everybody to be an army in design, right? But we are really expecting that we'll create good good guys, right? Guys that can really compete. You know, there are a lot of things happening now, and people like, oh, old school, you play one and all of those things, right? Man, 3 months you can compete at every level, and that's what we would do, right? That's what we would do. And not just the design, you will go to the management side using Jira. You will understand how to plan sprint epics, all those stories, and know from user story. You just as they are talking, if you are listening to a client and he's talking about user story, you just go to your Jira software and create the proper stuff, invite the client so that the client can be monitoring everything from your software. And as you are building, you are moving it from here to there. So the person is seeing everything you are doing, how you're moving the project. So it's a whole lot, but trust me, you get it very well. So all the best. Thank you very much for having me. Um, yeah, that's it. Bye, everyone.
Okay, Mr. Ayo. Okay, so guys, let me just give us a little rundown on what we'll be doing. Okay, it's going to be an interesting one for everyone to see. All right, I know some of you to know who joined us in the last meeting we had. All right, so it's going to be an interesting one, and I assure you guys that what you guys will be doing by the end of this course, most of you will be some UI UX designer. I hope you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so for the payments, all right. I think what you guys will pay. I'll send that on the Slack channel. Maybe once you will pay first, as the first installment. All right, so that you guys can start. All right, so but in as much as they will add every one of you to the course for the first module, so it's not just about the first module. We'll be dropping up to 3 modules first. I'll be up to 3 different modules because I want to keep put you guys on the journey. All right, so depending on how they're going to add it up for you guys, but they're going to be working on a journey. It's a very simple journey. You guys will have an amazing time, definitely. But for what I've done, I believe you guys will have an amazing time. All right. So For those of you, let me just check your question and see if you want I can answer before I think Mr. Ayo has answered most of what he has. So on Monday, let's say starting from 10 from 10 a.m. all of us. But if maybe you go to the course and you have it added, just reach out to us, we'll add you on. All right. So every one of us will be carried, especially during the live session. Okay. Every one of us will be carried. Find it to make sure that we all have these different meetings together, even without being on the 2 weeks or first 90 live session. We will have some other meetings together. So everyone is. I'm sure the way I did the course, every one of you will be carried from the beginning. All right. The class is online, no physical time. We can have like live sessions like this. But live stream was maybe like group meets or so we can see ourselves and discuss. All right. So well done everyone. All right. We'll talk more. Take care, guys. Bye.